another segment on the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm here in the First Star Logistics studio, and on this segment, I'll be discussing why Tom Aspinall will beat Jon Jones. Let me start off by saying this. It is so good to have Tom Aspinall back in the UFC. It is so good to have him back in the UFC and performing at a high level. Tom Aspinall, to me, was and is the future of the heavyweight division. This is a guy that I thought would have gone on to beat Francis Ngannou. This is a guy that I thought would have gone on to beat Cyril Gane. This is a guy that I think is going to go on to beat Jon Jones if he does not retire. I talk about all these opponents, right? I mentioned Francis Ngannou because Francis was the champion when Tom Aspinall first bursted onto the scene. Cyril Gane looked like the guy that was going to beat Francis Ngannou at some point, and I still felt good about Tom Aspinall's chances in beating him because he's better than him everywhere, in my opinion, outside of kickboxing. And Jon Jones, the same thing, who's the current heavyweight champion. I think Tom Aspinall has the goods to beat him. The fact of the matter is, Jon Jones hasn't been tested probably since the Dominic Reyes fight. Jon Jones, to me, ran away from the light heavyweight division. Why? Because the fighters were getting faster. The fighters were getting stronger. The fighters were getting smarter. The fighters were getting more athletic. Do I think Jon Jones would have beat the former UFC light heavyweight champion, Jamal Hill? Yes. But it gets a little weird when you put him up against people like Yuri Prohashka. It gets a little weird when you put him up against opponents like Magomed Ankalaev. It gets a little weird, right? Even when you put him up against, I don't know, say a guy like Alex Pereira. It gets a little strange for him. And this is not me knocking Jon Jones' greatness, but to me, the fighters they were younger and the fighters were more athletic. And if you look at the fighters in the heavyweight division, whether it be a Jailton Almeida or a Tom Aspinall, what would you say they are? They're younger, they're stronger, they're faster, and they're more athletic. Jon Jones is Tom Aspinall is the nightmare that Jon Jones ran away from the light heavyweight division to not have to deal with. He is cut from that same cloth. Tom Aspinall is great everywhere. He's good on the feet. He's good on the ground. He's great with submissions. His forward pressure. I think that's what's going to give Jon Jones a lot of issues. The fact that Tom Aspinall is able to slow the fight down and make it work for his pace. I think Tom Aspinall might just be a little too fast for Jon Jones as well. I think Jon Jones does well against these one-dimensional fighters where he can target a specific weakness and make it work for him. Cyril Gane, it was always going to be, hey, take Cyril Gane to the ground, wrestle him, submit him, whatever. That was always the game plan. Could you imagine if Jon Jones would have struck with Cyril Gane, what that might have looked like, how close that fight could have looked? If Cyril Gane was able to put some of that power, some of that pressure, some of that speed on Jon Jones, could Jon Jones have folded? We will never know because Jon Jones was able to get the fight to the ground, secure a choke, and end the fight. And it was quick, right? So we don't know. But when I look at other fights for Jon Jones, like people are talking about Sergey Pavlovich, if you ask me, I think Jon Jones beats Sergey Pavlovich. Yeah. Why? Because Jon Jones, to me, is very versatile. Sergey Pavlovich is, even though he has the last name Pavlovich and he's from Russia, you'd think, okay, this guy's a strong wrestler. No, that's not his game. Jon Jones could take Sergey Pavlovich down and submit him. That's the easiest path to victory for Jon Jones, not standing with Sergey Pavlovich, because then you'll have a Gustafsson fight all over again where both fighters will be leaving bloody. And I don't know if Jon Jones can deal with that type of fighting style at this point of his career. But when you look at a guy like Jailton Almeida wrestles heavyweights, takes him down, and then pretty much does the exact same thing to every single heavyweight, put them in a rear naked chokehold. He's not doing that to Jon Jones. Jon Jones is a world-class wrestler. Jon Jones can make Jailton Almeida look insignificant, I believe, on the feet and stuff enough of those takedowns to make him have to fight his style fight. So who does that leave? That leaves Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall is great with his jiu-jitsu. Tom Aspinall is great with his wrestling. And Tom Aspinall is a great boxer. You don't believe me? Ask Tyson Fury. That was one of Tyson Fury's main training partners at one point in time. So when you talk about Tom Aspinall, when I speak about Tom Aspinall, there is true merit behind me saying that this guy can give Jon Jones everything he can handle and more. I think he would be a tough out for Jon Jones on the feet. I think Jon Jones would win the kickboxing matchup. But when it comes to trading strikes, I give that to Tom Aspinall. When it comes to the wrestling style thing, Tom Aspinall's a naturally bigger guy. This is his true weight class. I also think Tom Aspinall's good enough to where he can threaten some submissions towards Jon Jones. I guess I'm going off on a tangent here. And Daniel, I'm sorry that I'm going off on a tangent.
Good.
But this speaks to how great I believe Tom Aspinall is. I think the two best heavyweights in the world right now are Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. And I think the best heavyweight in the world right now is named Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall would beat every single heavyweight on the UFC roster. There are a lot of people out there that say, hey, Tom Aspinall would have lost to Curtis Blades. I don't think so. His knee blew out. Unfortunate event. Year later, this guy returns in a tough out for everybody in Marcin Tybura. He puts his lights out, TKOs him, knocks him out in the first round, and made it look quick, made it look easy, made it look quick and easy. 1-2, drop to Marcin Tybura, hammer fist, fight's over. No one has done that to Marcin Tybura. No one has made Marcin Tybura look so insignificant in there. And this isn't a fluke. This is the same guy that went out there and annihilated, eviscerated. That's a little nod to Evan, my co-host, is not here, but eviscerated Sergey Spivak. And they're talking about doing that fight again. We don't need to see that fight again. We saw Tom Aspinall dismantle him in the first round. Then you say, okay, that's a fluke. He went up against Alexander Volkov. He took Alexander Volkov down and took his lunch money, submitted him. This is a guy in Alexander Volkov, I almost said Volkanovski, but Volkov, who is the gatekeeper of the heavyweight division, who you don't get to a title fight without beating Volkov. And guess what? He did that. He made it look easy. So now they're talking, well, Tom Aspinall saying he wants the winner of Spivak versus Ciryl Gane. He beats both of those guys. He already beat Spivak. We don't need to see that again. He's going to beat Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is too one-dimensional. This is the same Ciryl Gane that got held down by Francis Ngannou. So listen to me. Tom Aspinall is the future of the heavyweight division. If you want a tough test for Tom Aspinall, put Tom Aspinall against Jailton Almeida. Let's see what happens there. But I think he beats Spivak. I think he beats Gane. And I think he beats the champ, Jon Jones. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
I really want to take the opposing side. I really want to take, the Jon Jones side. But I'm going to put it very simply. Jon Jones, when you look at where he is in his career, right, that he would have fought Stipe Miocic. That's another 6 months on his career, more miles. And as Tom Aspinall said, he's got way too many miles. And that's it. To put it simply, Tom Aspinall's in the prime of his career. Jon Jones is in the tail end of his career. I just don't see where Jon Jones beats him at. Like, Jon Jones can out-wrestle him maybe for a little bit, but the reason why he beat Ciryl Gane was simply he picked a spot and out-wrestled him. I'll be honest. I think Tom Aspinall would put it on him on the feet.
Can I be honest with you, Daniel? My issue with Jon Jones, and this sucks because I love Jon Jones. Jon Jones was one of my favorite fighters growing up, and still one of my favorite fighters to this day. But it seems like he cherry picks when he wants to fight certain guys.
Yeah.
To be honest with you about it. He made this whole big fuss to the UFC that he wanted more money to fight Francis Ngannou. When Francis Ngannou left his UFC contract, immediately Jon Jones was ready to make his heavyweight debut and did it quick, fast, and in a hurry. He then began to utter Francis Ngannou's name quite often, calling him out, saying this, saying that. But this is well after Francis Ngannou had left the UFC and obviously didn't have any plans on returning. He's now signed with the PFL. To me, it's just like Jon Jones. I don't want to say he's a coward because I wouldn't disrespect him that way. But to me, the way he's gone about his move to heavyweight has been very cowardish, if you will. Calling him, he's going to be, listen, it was an opportune time. He fought Ciryl Gane. He knew he was better than Ciryl Gane, especially by taking the fight to the ground. You're now about to take on a 41-year-old Stipe Miocic. What does that prove?
Malik, I'm gonna be very honest. I don't think he takes the Aspinall fight.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he takes it, man.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think you know what I think? I think Jon, because apparently Jon Jones is telling everybody he's retiring after the Stipe Miocic fight. And I guess that's supposed to make you the GOAT of the heavyweight division. I guess, bro, cool story. But to me, it seems like a guy that cherry picked his way the moment Francis Ngannou left. And I think Jon would have beat Francis Ngannou, but I think it's a big fear of Jon to get KO'd. And he saw that fear. He saw that potential with Francis Ngannou matchup. Jon Jones took on Cyril Gane, which was the easier matchup for the interim heavyweight championship fight. He knew he could beat Cyril Gane. Everybody knew he could beat Cyril Gane. The bookies knew he was going to beat Cyril Gane. It was the easiest call to make, and he did that. I think people expected it to be as easy as he made it out to be, but that shows how good Jon Jones is. But now he won the heavyweight championship, and now I guess the Stipe Miocic, who's considered the GOAT of the heavyweight division, because we slap a GOAT title on everybody. I guess beating a 40-some-odd Stipe Miocic is supposed to solidify himself and supplant himself in the heavyweight division. This is the same Stipe Miocic we haven't seen since he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou. Got knocked out cold. So, to me, you're facing a 40-year-old fighter who's over the hill at this point. If Jon Jones wants to solidify his legacy and tell everybody, hey, I'm really that guy, I'm really the champ, I'm really the GOAT, fight one of these young guys. Solidify your legacy in the heavyweight division by turning back one of these young up-and-coming fighters, because if you don't, you're always going to be left with, hey, John couldn't beat Jailton. John couldn't beat Sergey. John couldn't beat Tom. You're always going to be left with those questions. And as an athlete, as someone performing at the highest level, you want to challenge yourself against the best, or at least I hope you would. Now, if maybe Daniel, maybe he's looking at it like Cyril Gane is that young crop of guys that he fought.
But the thing is, he knew heading into that, he knew Cyril Gane. Jon Jones is very smart. And he said in his presser, like, I see holes in his games. Jon Jones is smart. He knew that was his plan all along. And he even said in his post-fight, press conference, he said, I didn't really feel as comfortable standing on the feet. And what did he do? Right away, he went for the takedown. He knew his path to victory. I'll be honest, I don't see a true path to victory. Going back to the actual matchup, if Aspinall versus Jon Jones do match up, the only way I can truly see him winning is if Tom Aspinall just has this, starstruck moment, right? I think GSP, kind of said in his first fight, his first loss, I believe it was Matt Hughes. He had one of those moments. He always watched this guy, and once he got in the ring, he was a little too nice. Aspinall, has been on record saying, "Oh, I hope Jon Jones knows who I am." I'm not saying I think that's going to happen. That's the only true way I see Jon Jones beating this young Tom Aspinall.
And I think the one issue is we haven't seen that dominant Jon Jones in so long to where he's like actually hungry.
Yep.
Man, I just think I don't think we need to see Tom Aspinall versus one of those guys. I think we need to see Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones.
Yep.
Or if not that, give us Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich or Jailton Almeida. Give us one of those two. Yeah. But to me, it's clear Jon has his eyes on walking away from fighting. So just make that fight as quick as possible. To me, Tom Aspinall is a tough out for Jon Jones. He's a tough out for Jon Jones. He's tough out for anybody in the heavyweight division. I just, for the first time ever, I don't see a path to victory for Jon Jones in this fight. I just don't. I just don't see it. I don't know why. He's not the same Jon Jones. Maybe it's too many wars. Maybe it's kind of just resting on your laurels. I don't know what it is. But give me Tom Aspinall each and every single day. As a matter of fact, I'm making a prediction. I believe Tom Aspinall would stop Jon Jones within 2 rounds. I say that confidently. I think he would stop Jon Jones within 2 rounds. I think the first round will be a feeler. The second round, I think Tom Aspinall will put it on Jon Jones. And I could see a TKO, or I could see a submission, to be quite honest with you. The fact of the matter is we've seen a lot of quote-unquote GOATs fall as of recent. We've seen a lot of them fall as of recent. There's been a lot of champions that we thought were invincible, like Kamaru Usman, fall as of recent. And I think if Jon Jones makes the decision to take on Tom Aspinall, it will be no different. And I think for those reasons, Jon Jones might look to stay away from a Tom Aspinall. But Jon, please do us a favor. Give us that fight. Give us that fight. Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones, the London O2 Arena for the UFC, heavyweight championship. And if we can time it up with a Leon, or if Leon's still the champ, when I know he's got Colby Covington breathing down his neck. Time it up to something like that. I think that would be very, very special. But if you guys like more video content like this, make sure you guys give this video a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we go live or when we upload a video from the First Star Logistics Studio.